Hi everyone, welcome back to Crafting at Whimsy Wonderland. My name is Stacy. I have another Dollar Tree DIY for you. Well, mostly Dollar Tree DIY. I'm going to be using up some of the um, joint compound that I have left over from snowman ornaments that I made in my Christmas in July series. This is Proform All-Purpose Professional Formula Joint Compound. I got this at Walmart. This one is a 12 pound and I think it cost me, I want to say $8, but they have a smaller container if you want to try this for yourself. Or you could even use the spackle, probably, I'm guessing, from the Dollar Tree to do this project. You will need some craft paint in like a midnight blue or a sky blue. I'm choosing to use Waverly chalk paints in the color Pool. You need one of these packages of art canvas from the Dollar Tree. These are the 4x6 ones that are stretched on a board, so there's 3 in a pack. What I like about these is each piece is individually wrapped inside of here, so it keeps them from getting messed up once you open the package. And then I'm going to be using a palette knife set that I got at the Dollar Tree. If you already have tools like this, then you don't need to get it. And a stencil of some sort. Now, if you've been around as long as I have in the crafting world, like from the 80s and 90s, actually this one was made in 2001, you probably have some of these brass stencils from embossing around. And yeah, remember how we used to take the little tool and rub the paper down into the holes? So anyway, I'm going to be using one of these brass stencils, but you could use the plastic stencils that you can get at the Dollar Tree that look like this, but you're going to need a bigger canvas than what I got. I wanted to do some small canvases and the Dollar Tree's stencils were just a little bit too big, but you could also use their stretched canvases that they have there. You can use these on the back as well, but I have a different idea in mind. I wanted to try to make some little hangers or ornaments out of these. I don't know if it's going to work or not. I'm thinking I could do it this way and cut it in half and make an ornament that way, but then that's going to leave a raw edge and I don't know how these will cut. So yeah, I'm just going to use the compound and smear it across, kind of like the chalk couture thing that's popular right now. I did this a while back, like in the early 2000s, and sold some things with that on it. And yeah, we'll just see how it goes. It's been a long time and I don't know if I remember how to do it, but I'm going to give it my best shot. So we've got to open these up, and I already did one with one coat of chalk paint in the color Pool. I kind of wanted more of a midnight blue, but I couldn't find anything I really liked, so I just went with the sky blue. And I'm going to center this on my canvas, and I'm going to need to fasten it down. So I'm going to use some blue tape for that. Hopefully my canvas is dry enough. I'm just going to put 2 little pieces on. Put one up here. The reason you do this is because you don't want your stencil scooting around on you while you're working on it. Then you need to open your palette knife. Okay, now these aren't the best tools in the world. They're kind of squishy and flexible. That's okay. Basically just need something to scrape with. And I'm going to use this natural color at first. Try not to get any off of the stencil. You want to try to make sure that when you're scraping, your scraper's kind of about as wide as your stencil is so that you're not getting weird stuff. I'm going to go ahead and do the words. I don't know if they're going to work or not, but we're going to give it a try. I'm just trying to be careful to keep all of the joint compound on the stencil and not all over my board. I don't want to have to clean it up. Okay. Now I put it on with the palette knife and I have this scraper. Let's see about scraping off as much as I can, but I want it to be level. So I can see that I accidentally dipped down into the tummy a little bit. So I really wanted a regular like putty knife, but all they had was metal, and I wasn't sure if metal would work real well. Okay, we need a little more on there. Hopefully I'm not making a mess of this. I just want it smooth. Okay. Then I'm going to very carefully take off my tape, holding my stencil still till I get all the tape off, and then lift it up. And now I have a dimensional little snowman on my board, and the words came out nicely. Okay, and so I'm going to let that dry. I did have a little bit of bleeding under the scarf, but that's okay. I think that's all right. And then once it dries, I can take some colors and go in there and really make it beautiful. Okay, so I need to let this dry, and once it's dry, I will come back and we'll do the next step. Okay, I wanted to come back and show you, and it's going to be hard for you to see, a few of the things that I'm doing. This is dried for about 10 minutes, and I've gone through with my paper piercing tool that's really sharp, and I've gone back and kind of drug it around the stencil lines where there was bleeding. And while it's still soft, you can wipe it with your finger to smooth out anything that's rough. Just be very careful. Use a really light touch. And I'm just going back with this paper piercer and kind of wiping out the lines where it bled. And then I decided I wanted to put some lines in my scarf. So I'm just gently touching with my paper piercer. Okay, and if you're going to do that across the paper piercer or across the top of the scarf, make sure you do it on the bottom as well. Now on these, I'm not trying to remove any of the mud. I'm just trying to kind of put an indentation so it has the appearance. And then I would like to have some fringe on here, but I think I'm going to have to doodle that fringe in because there's nothing to draw the fringe in with right here. So once I've drawn those lines, I'm just touching them very gently with the top of my finger and then wiping my finger off so that I don't push any gunk in there. There are some edges that maybe got a little sharp when you pulled off the stencil. This is the time to kind of just rub them a tiny little bit. Be careful with those words because there's not much mud on the words, so I'm just gently rubbing the edges to soften them. And I'm also going to put a couple of lines just in the top part of the nose, just for a little texture. Let me see if it can focus on that. Okay, see what I did the lines with, how I did the lines on the scarf? And I don't know, the lines on the nose are kind of hard to see, but they're tiny, but they're there. And so I went through and just kind of redefined the lines where the stencil lines were because they were really fine. This is my stencil. See how the scarf lines are really small? And so that kind of bled under when I was doing the scraping. So once this is dry completely, then I'll come back and show you how I colored it. But when I got to looking at it and I saw how the edges were just marred a little tiny bit from taking the stencil off. I just wanted to soften those up, and I wanted to show you how I did that. Now there are some lines across there, across his face and across his belly from the scraper. You can try to sand those out if you want. I like that looks a little bit. I don't mind a little bit of it on there. I don't like a lot of it, but a little bit just gives it texture. I pushed too hard when I rounded out my edges. So now I got to go back and take that out again. Okay, so this needs just some time to dry. I don't know how long it's going to take. I will let you know when I come back on the next step. So my snowman guy is finally dry. I honestly don't know how long it took because when I made this video before, a couple hours before I went to bed, and I checked on this before I went to bed, and it still wasn't quite completely dry. But it is a rather cool room in the basement, so if you have a warmer house, warmer space for it, it might dry a little faster. So it definitely was dry overnight, so you could just let it dry overnight, plan on it that way, and you'll have plenty of time for it. So what I'm going to do is I have these alcohol markers that came from Tuesday Morning, and I bought them a while back, but I did see that they had the 20, I think it was 20, maybe 24 count sets back in, but I got a bunch of the 12-piece sets because that's what they had when I was purchasing them. So what I'm going to do is take my alcohol marker. Let me put a little more light on this. I'm going to take my alcohol marker, and most of this is snowman, so a lot of it's going to stay white. But I've got an orange, and I'm just going to color in his nose. And I'm not going for perfection here. I want it to look a little bit distressed. Okay. Then I need to decide what color I want his hat as well. And that color, by the way, it was just flat orange. And, okay, this is a pastel yellow. I'm going to go ahead and do the star yellow. Now, with these alcohol inks, this drywall mud seems to be really kind of soaking in. So, yeah, I could probably just use Sharpies on this as well. I think I'm just going to stick with some blues for the hat. So I'm going to use a dark, it's called Brilliant Blue. Whoops, wrong end. Brilliant Blue. You could take this opportunity to get some other color in there. That would be fine. You could also paint this with acrylic paint if you have a very steady hand, which I'm not as good with a paintbrush as I am with a marker. So Sharpie would probably be a good option if you don't have alcohol markers. In fact, I'm not really liking the way the alcohol marker is interacting with the mud, so I think if I did this again, I would absolutely do it with Sharpie. I'm going to grab my Sharpies and we'll see if those do a better job. Alright, my Sharpie collection isn't as abundant as it used to be, but yes, Sharpie seems to be coloring on this much better. I'm just using what I had and what I had collected. I've been doing crafts for a lot of years, and I just have a collection of a lot of things. I'm going to draw an eye in there. Okay, and then I kind of just want some lines coming off of the star, so I'm just going to doodle those in. Okay, and then I want a little bit of doodle around the edge. I'm not worrying about it being straight. I'm not worrying about it being perfect. Okay, so just going to put a little doodle on there and that's pretty much done. Okay. Then we have to figure out how we're going to hang it. Here's one idea of what you could do with it, and I have a few. I have a leftover 8x10 frame from when I did my chicken wire signs, and I have chicken wire on the back. You could glue that, attach that into the middle. Then the back would look like this. You could cut a piece of paper to cover up any of your glue marks and cover this part with a piece of paper so that it has something to attach to. That's one idea. Another idea, if you like the rope look, is you could wrap it in rope. Okay, the rope stands up higher than the actual little canvas does, but you could wrap it in rope. That's another look, and then make a little twine or another rope hanger. Or you can do what I think I'm going to do, which is get some ribbon that coordinates. And this one came, I think I got it last Christmas, maybe last spring. I got it at Michael's. It was in, I bought an assortment pack of ribbons. Yeah, I guess it was last summer I bought it actually, because I was making tassels at the time. And I'm just going to put a little hanger on here like this so that it hangs. It can be hung over a doorknob, it can be hung over like a drawer pull. So think about where somebody might hang it or where you want to hang it, and make sure that your hanger is big enough for that. Okay, so I'm just going to cut a piece, and I'm angling my ends because this grosgrain ribbon will ravel if you don't either burn your ends or angle your ends. And I don't like to burn things too much. So, got my glue gun heating up, so I'm just going to put some glue on the edge and glue it down. Okay, and then I like to take my ribbon and just have it be flat, and then I just kind of fold it over, and that's how I decide how to hang it. Some people try to make it lay a certain way, but that's just how I do. I think it just makes it a little more flat. Another glob of glue, and press it down. Now, if you wanted some extra security on this, if it's going to be maybe on a doorknob where people are going to be going through it a lot, you might want to glue a button that's slightly larger than your ribbon onto here so that the ribbon is sandwiched between the button and the canvas. But I think this is going to go just on the drawer knob of my hutch. So there you have it, a cute little Christmas hanger, and it's three-dimensional. See if you can see that. It stands up off of the edge of the canvas, and I think it's just cute and simple. I like to make little crafts like these and have a bunch of them on hand, and if somebody drops by I can give them one of these as a gift, or they can be party favors. They're real quick and easy. Like I say, there was 3 of these canvases in a pack for $1 at the Dollar Tree, and then this was just some mud that I had left over from one of my Christmas in July projects. Or you could probably even use the spackle that they have, the white spackle that they have at the Dollar Tree would even work for this, and it would dry a lot faster because it's a quick drying spackle. I just wanted to use what I had, but if you wanted to, you could totally make this Dollar Tree by using a Dollar Tree stencil and the Dollar Tree spackle. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so. And when you hit that subscription bar down below, also click that notification bell. It's off to the right, and that way you'll get notified each and every time I upload a video. If you haven't checked out my Christmas in July series and you want some more Christmas ideas, go over to my channel and check those out. There's 31 ideas for ornaments and decorations there, and a couple of gift ideas as well. So anyway, this has been Crafting at Whimsy Wonderland. Thanks for stopping by. I'll see you next time.